بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Next, the author rahimahullah continues to talk about Ghusl, which is the complete ritual washing, and now he's going to mention the obligatory acts that are necessary in order for a person's ghusl to be sound. And so he says, فَصْلٌ فَرَائِدُ الْغُسْلِ النِّيَّةُ عِنْدَ الشُّرُوعِ وَالْفَوْرُ وَالدَّلْكُ وَالْعُمُومِ. So here the author mentions the four things that are obligatory to do at a person's ghusl. So he starts by saying fara'id al-wudu, the obligatory acts of wudu are an-niyyatu inda shuru', yani to have the person must make a niyyah, have the intention at the beginning of their ghusl that they're making a ghusl in order to remove the state of janaba or the state of the greater impurity. So the intention during ghusl is to remove the greater state of impurity or simply just to remove the state of janaba. And that should be done, as he mentions, in the shuru' at the beginning of a person's ghusl. Then he mentions wal fawr. Wal fawr means to do the action continually without taking a break, and we mentioned before in wudu what al fawr is, and al fawr means that there's not a long space in between the parts that you wash enough that the limbs were to dry. So for example, if you were making ghusl and the phone rang and you went and you answered the phone, after hanging up the phone, if any of your limbs were still wet, then you can continue making your ghusl. If the limbs were dry by the time you got off the phone, then when you go back to make a ghusl, you must start your ghusl all over again. So that's the meaning of al-fawr. Then he says what dalku, and dalk here means to rub, as you mentioned before, but there's a difference between dalk in ablution in wudu and dalk in ghusl. In ablution we mentioned that a person has to make dalk using the palm of their hand. For example, it's not permissible in wudu for a person to wash his feet using his other foot to wash his other foot during wudu, although it's permissible in other madhabs. But so that's in terms of wudu, in wudu. But in ghusl, dalk can be used by anything. So for example, you can use your arm to wash your chest. It's not a condition in ghusl to use the palm of your hand in order to rub your body. So during ghusl, the obligatory act of dalk is that everything that's considered the outside of your body, your hand has to pass over it. So what do we mean by dalk? The passing of a limb over another limb. So you have to make sure that all the outside of the body is washed. And then the fourth is rubbed. And then the fourth one is al-umum. Al-umum means that you cover all of the outside of your body with water. So for example, when a person is making ghusl, they just have to make sure that they rub all of the outside of their body and that water reaches all parts of the body. And so during ghusl, the person has to be careful to make sure that they wash inside their belly button, that they make sure that they wash down by the crotch area, under the armpits, around the neck, behind the ears, and also washing the outside of the ears as well. So another thing that a person has to be careful about when they're making ghusl is that they have to make sure that the outside of the ear is washed and not wiped. For example, in wudu, you wipe your ears. We're talking about the outside of the ear that a person can see when they look at the side of your face. In the ghusl, you wipe over them, but in the ghusl, they have to be washed. So that's the meaning of al-umum, to make sure that all of the body is covered with water. And Also, in terms of dalk, a person has to be careful also in ghusl, that in terms of the hair, a person has to make sure that they run their fingers through their hair, they run their fingers through their beard, and that they rub it in order to get down to the scalp of the head. So after mentioning these four, he mentions the sunnahs of ablution, and he says, وَالسُّنَنُهُ, the first sunnah is غَسْلُ الْيَدَيْنِ إِلَى الْكُوعَيْنِ كَالْوُدُوءِ. Yani the first sunnah is to wash your hands up until your wrist bones. The same way, kalwudu, the same way you do it in wudu. So we mentioned in wudu that you wash your hands 3 times. So you wash the right one 3 times and you wash the left one 3 times. And so the same way that you do it in wudu in terms of washing the hands up to the wrist, you're going to do it in ghusl also. And then he mentions wal madmadatu wal istinshaku wal istinthar. Al madmada, as we said, the same way you make madmada, the same way you wash your mouth, and the same way you inhale water into the nose, and the way you blow and blowing it out. All these 3 sunnahs, putting them in your mouth, putting water in your mouth and swishing it around, inhaling water in the nose, the second one, and the third one blowing the water out, all of that is also sunnah in ghusl according to the Malikis. And although it's only sunnah, as for the sake of observing the other madhabs, a person should try their best to observe it, because according to the Hanafi madhab, washing the mouth and washing the nose during ghusl is obligatory. So the Maliki scholars say, since other mujtahids whose proofs are strong see it as wajib, then we should try our best to preserve it. And then after mentioning that, he mentions وَغَسْلُ سِمَاخُ الْأُذُنِ وَهِيَ الثُّقْبَةُ الدَّاخِلَةُ فِي الرَّأْسِ. Then he says washing the simach al-udhun, yani you can say the plate of the ear. And what does it mean by the plate of the ear? وَهِيَ الثُّقْبَةُ الدَّاخِلَةُ فِي الرَّأْسِ. The ear canal, you can say it's sunnah to wipe the ear canal. So here there's just a slight oversight of the author. He uses the word washing the inside ear canal, which a person is not supposed to wash it, they're just supposed to wipe it. So in terms of the outside plate of the ear that you see when a person looks at you, that has to be washed. But sticking your fingers in your ear, you don't wash the inside of your ear, because that'll damage it. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to dip your fingers in the water, put your fingers in your ears, and just turn them back and forth in order to wipe them. But you're not supposed to wash them. So the meaning of ghusl here, he meant to say to wipe. So the 4th sunnah is wiping the inside ear canal during your ghusl. And Al-Akhdari touches upon the point, the next one, and he says, وَأَمَّا سَحْفَةُ الْأُذُنِ. As for the ear plate, فَيَجِبُ غَسْلُ ظَاهِرِهَا وَبَاطِنِهَا. It is obligatory for a person to wash the inside and the outside of it. So the air flap itself, which I call the air plate, we can say the air flap itself, the outside and the inside have to be washed with water. But in terms of the air canal, you just dip your fingers in water and you wipe. So in order to Sheikh Daruddir, rahimahullah, one of the Maliki scholars, mentions in one of his advanced books that the way a person can wash his ear is he wants to make sure that no water gets into the ear canal, because it can damage the ear. So what you're going to do when you want to wash the right ear is you're going to tilt your ear to the right side, so that your head is tilted to the right side. You're going to take water in your right hand and you're going to put it up to your ear and just move it around and wash it. That way the water doesn't fall into the ear. And then when you want to wash the left ear, you're going to turn your head to the left side so that the ear is basically pointing towards the ground. You're going to take water and then wash it. That way you wash the water and it falls directly down without entering the ear canal.